Clearly we'd started the Linda Norgrove Foundation after our daughter was killed, so we didn't have any opportunity to give it some consideration beforehand. We got started from a standing start. We were slightly apprehensive about taking on an intern because we thought it might create additional work for us. But then on the other hand, it was the lesser of two evils. We felt that if we didn't get anybody to give us a hand, it was just going to get too much altogether.
I applied for the internship initially because I felt really passionate about the aims of the foundation. It's a cause that's very close to my own heart because it's centred around the community that I grew up in. And John and Linda Norgrove, who run the foundation, they're totally inspirational.
We've managed to get an office for her in the local community shop, which is within a couple of miles of her house, and that's been provided for us with electricity, internet and telephone free of charge by the local community shop committee. And so she works in the community shop a couple of days a week, and 3 days a week generally, and comes down to visit us at our house where we have an office in the house, where she works from there about 2 days a week.
Some of the tasks that I've been involved with is I've been sorting out press releases and general communications surrounding the foundation, as well as organising merchandise for any fundraising events here in the UK. I think the thing about the fundraising has been it's been different sort of levels of achievement for whoever's been involved. So it's inspiring being kind of exposed to these various different challenges on a daily basis, near enough, and then kind of being responsible for people. Okay, so the tractor run was an event that took place last month. It was involved a number of drivers with their vintage Massey Fergusons driving from the north of the island to the south of Harris, which is a distance of around 85 miles, it took about 10 hours actually, all in all. It was just so much fun, and they were raising money for the foundation and enhancing links between rural Afghanistan, where they've used the same vintage Massey Fergusons but they're still in use in agriculture today, and highlighting the links between there and subsistence farming in Scotland. All the tractor drivers wore traditional Afghan hats called pakals, which we'd had made by a Sustainable Enterprise project in Kabul. And at first the response wasn't great, but then they sort of warmed up to it and they just got involved and had a really good time. If I had been struggling at every step of the way, I've known that there are people that I can speak to, which is quite unusual because if you're in a workplace environment, you don't have that fallback facility. And I think it's really important for people who have just come straight from university to actually have a little bit of a support network there. Maybe not hands-on, but if anything does go wrong, I've known that there are people there at all times to be able to support me.
There have been several benefits with the internship. I think probably one of the major ones is that Rachel, our intern, is a lot younger than us and given us a perspective on what appeals to younger characters than ourselves. And she's very well up on Facebook and Twitter and these social networking methods, which we didn't know very much about. And one thing which is definitely better is the communication we've had, both internally within our own charity and externally to the people who we're trying to talk to.
And I think an internship is an absolutely brilliant way of bridging the things that you've learnt in university and then taking those skills out into the outside world and actually putting them into practice. in a third sector organisation, you can really see the positive effects of, the hours that you're putting in. Not to hesitate about taking interns on, because although perhaps a little bit more supervision is required at points, the rewards that you get for the keenness and the willingness and the enthusiasm to be part of the organisation far outweighs the extra time it takes to perhaps provide a little bit more guidance. The most important aspect of it from my perspective is positive encouragement and reinforcement. My plans for the future are the internship has actually inspired me to look to pursuing a career in international development. My next step is to gain some overseas experience, so I can then apply for hopefully a master's in either global or international development.
We were really impressed with the quality of interns who we interviewed. I think we'd kind of come to the conclusion that we need somebody to give us a hand on a pretty permanent basis. So we're intending appointing one of the other interns for another 10-week period, and then we're going to review things after then.
Every little aspect is just built up into this kind of canopy of amazingness. That's the best way of putting it. It's just been absolutely, every day has been a joy. It's inspiring being able to get out of bed every day and realise that you're actually contributing to furthering the aims of the foundation.